So alright, in today's video, I want to talk about how I set this IBM Type A556 to work with my bluescsi v2. With that said, a little bit of background on this project. The hard drive in this IBM Type A556 is actually going really bad, so I decided I'd replace it with a bluescsi, and unlike the other IBM machines I have, this is a SCSI-based hard drive, not an IDE-based one, so swapping over to SD cards, kinda tricky. Thankfully, there's a project called bluescsi, and that kind of solves most of the problems. However, with this machine, setting up a bluescsi is not really much of an easy feat. With most machines in a bluescsi, you can download a hard drive image that's pre-made, throw it on, and your machine will just work. However, with this one, you need to make the hard drive image from scratch, and for the most part should be a pretty straightforward process, but I'm still running into issues with it, so hopefully somebody can help me out. But besides that, it does work, and even with the issues, I still highly suggest you guys to get a bluescsi if you happen to have this type of machine, because you're going to need to replace the hard drive in this nearly 30-plus-year-old hardware at some point. But yeah, with that said, to get started, we need to first of all take this computer apart. Now, I'm going to talk about how to actually take it apart the proper way so you don't make any mistakes and damage your hardware. First things first, put it on the ground, and I like to take the back screw out, then push it from the front and slide it out the back. This will make sense while you do it. It is a pain, but this is how this machine is taken apart, so do not try to pry at the front cover. That is not how you open this. Once you have the actual hardware out, there's this little door on the front, and now it looks like just a front cover, and it looks like you should take these drive plates off. Do not do this. This is not how you take the hardware out of this system. It looks like somebody who owned this hardware in the past may have tried that. So one of my drive covers is actually cracked on the clip, so I've been meaning to replace that. However, the proper way of doing this is to pull on the little lever to the left of the floppy drive. Once you pull this lever, it swings open like a door, which is pretty cool, and then you can just lift it and pull it off. Once you have that out of the way, what I like to do now is take off the PC speaker. Now, the PC speaker is held in with two clips. You just clip them inward, lift up, and that whole mechanism's out of the way. From here, we have a little bit more breathing room to pull out the cables and put in our new hardware. Essentially, what I want you to do now is disconnect the floppy drive reader. Then I want you to disconnect the SCSI drive as well as its Molex cable. Be careful, these machines are nearly 30 plus years old, like I said, and these cables tend to be a little sticky. It actually drew blood on me to get this thing out. It was that hard to get out. It felt like it was super glued. But once you got all the cables disconnected there, you can pull the little lever up in front of the hard drive, and the thing should just come out. It's completely toolless. Now from there, I want you to take your bluescsi and try to match the jumpers I have on screen. I'll try to write down a list of what you should have enabled. The first thing that you want enabled that you need to have enabled is term on, and you also need the power jumper on. With the power jumper on, the actual SCSI cable itself will power the bluescsi. Thankfully, this machine is listed as completely compatible with being powered through the SCSI cable on the bluescsi website, and for my testing, it seems to work okay like that. It does drop in power every once in a while when I read the log, but it's nothing that would nowhere near affect the hardware. Anyway, once you have the jumpers set, what I'd like you to do now is actually pull the SCSI cable out, plug the floppy drive back in, and from here, you can plug your bluescsi in on top. I don't recommend putting the system together with the bluescsi in, because if something goes wrong, then you're just going to have to take everything apart, and it's kind of a tight fit. So test it all out of the case first, and once you got everything working, you can then put it inside. From here, we actually need to set up our quote-unquote hard drive image, which is our SD card that goes into the bluescsi. Now, I did this under Linux. You need the SD card formatted in a FAT format. I'll try to have a command on screen if I remember. And you're also going to need to, well, make a hard drive image. And on Linux, it's super simple, just a one-liner command. Again, it's on screen as well as in the description if you wish to just copy and paste. Just a quick little side note, the IBM Type A556 can accept up to, I believe it was a gigabyte in terms of hard drive images. I think, however, the max it fully supported officially was like 512 megabytes or something, so try to stay under a gigabyte. That's my recommendation. But once you have your SD card formatted, you got the hard drive image on there, Make sure the hard drive image actually has HD6 in it. The type A556 will only accept a drive on the device ID 6. So you need the actual image file titled correctly or it will not accept it. From here, put the SD card in your bluescsi, and we can then put our reference diskette into the computer. If you never worked on this type of machine, you're going to need the reference diskette. Think of it like this. This old type of hardware didn't have a BIOS on the motherboard. The BIOS is on the floppy disk that will then be copied over to our hard drive image or our blank. So without the reference diskette, this will not work, so keep that in mind. I'll link to where you can find a reference image down below in the description, and I'll try to remember to create my own personal backup. Once you have the disk image in, turn the computer on, and well, it should boot up into a menu that looks like this. Now, I normally like to format the drive by hitting Ctrl-A. It opens up an optional, unofficial menu that you can use to then format our hard drive image. You don't really have to do this, but I recommend it. Do that, format the drive, and then from there, boot up the floppy drive reference disk image again. And from this menu, you want to go to Set Auto Configuration or Set Configuration and click Auto. This will save a list of the hardware available to our drive, as well as a few other things the system needs in order to get up and running properly and know what hardware is in it. After you did that auto configuration, the system will then reboot again. I suggest getting used to the rebooting of this system because it will reboot for every little thing you do when you mess around in the reference disk image. After you set the configuration, you can now go up to Backup and Restore in the reference disk image. From here, we can actually hit Restore System Programs. I believe that's what the menu is called. Now this, it might sound scary, but it's essentially just copying over the BIOS, the reference disk image, to our blank hard drive image. What this means is when this process is done and the computer shuts off or we decide to reboot it, it should automatically boot back up into this reference disk image on the actual bluescsi now. With the real hard drive, it should automatically boot up into a menu that says press F1. On my system, it does that every so often when I did this process. Once I got an OS on there, it always throws up an IML error, and this is one of the problems I've been running into. But the machine will still boot, so if you get an IML error code, ignore it. Once you reboot without a floppy and you see the IBM reference disk image and everything, you can then put in your installation media of choice, then just hit Start Operating System or Continue to Operating System. I forget what the option's called. It's the first option on the reference disk menu when it pops back up. From here, you can install whatever, DOS image you want, or OS essentially. And I'm not really going to guide you through the process of doing that, because depending on what it is you want to boot up and set up, it's going to be a different process for you on your end. Just know this, the actual reference disk will not show the drive size in the SCSI information menu. It will always be a question mark megabyte, unless somebody can show me how to fix that. Besides the reference disk menu getting confused about the drive, everything else identifies the correct drive size and just works. And if I turn the machine on and off and then turn it on, it will start up the reference disk menu, complain about the IML code, and I could just hit continue and it will just load normally. If anyone knows what's causing this, let me know. But for the most part, I know it shouldn't be a user issue on my end, because I've set this machine up before with the original hard drive. It came absolutely wiped when I got this system. But with that said, guys, I hope this video was able to help at least somebody out. If anyone knows how to clear out that IML error message, I will gladly redo the video as well as give you a shout out. But for the time being, I do hope this video/guide was able to help somebody out in the end. With that said, I'm going to leave the video off here now. DTPK signing off. Peace. There's a lot of changes to this case I want to make eventually. But yeah, now that our device is made, what we need to, and everything is indeed working. You can go to fast fetch, make sure the graphics acceleration is on.